Good to see you. So there's a good morning, good evening, good in between. I go over to Instagram. Good to see everybody. It feels like it's been such a long time, and it has been like a couple weeks instead of weeks. So waiting for Instagram to kick in, but I hope everybody's doing well. And here we go. It's There we go. Live. Let's go live on Instagram, and we're ready to take off. So, yeah, good to see everybody. It's not. It's okay to see. I'm sitting here waiting for the time to just start, and then seeing all the little messages popping up from Rebecca and Karen and Tanya and Elise, Sydney, and whoever else is out there who's not saying hello. That's fine. And good to see you guys. It's really nice to be here and share this time together. And whether you're doing this post facto, maybe showing up later, thanks for stopping by. And we'll see who shows up on Instagram. But I haven't been very active on Instagram because every time you go on social media now, you just get assaulted with all this stuff that you don't really particularly care to get pulled into. And it just feels like it's getting more intense with the social media. So, and I also do not like to do anything unless it's, especially with my work, unless it's coming really from within. Asta, hello, and guided from within, feeling that alignment, and that alignment brings it out. So I've always been really bad at marketing because one of the most important things for me is to hold the space that you are whole, you have everything that you need within yourself, and um, and hold that space. And so there's that piece with marketing where there's always kind of this like pulling the person in some way. But when you hold the space of wholeness, then that pulling in, it's delicate. It's delicate. So, anyways, so I haven't been on Instagram a lot, and just pulled in other things, other directions, even relative to my work and relative to so this is part of my work, but what I'm here to do. And I'm really here to help people move through and move into a higher state of being, to move into this new, So anyways, with all that chit chat, let's just take a nice deep breath in wherever you are, whatever you're here for. And if you're right here with me right now, you're here to get into that deeper connection to yourself, deeper alignment with yourself. So feeling that with the breath, feeling where your breath is, and wherever it's at is fine. You start out by wherever you're at. You don't try to change where you're at to get to some place where you think you need to be. You just start with where you're at. And sometimes that where you're at is not comfortable. We've all been there, and we'll all be there again. So just notice whatever shows up, and it could be generally like everything's pretty great, but then there's, as you kind of sit there, there might be just a little flavor of something kind of hanging there wherever around you. And that's fine. That's life, that's the movement of our beings through time. That will happen because those little moments of those little tweaks is about just helping us to redirect, to realign more deeply. So it's not wrong, it's not off, it's not dysfunctional, it's not unenlightened, it's not the opposite of ascending. That is part of the process. So being aware of that breath, wherever that breath is at, whatever it's doing in your body. And so while you're sitting there, noticing the breath coming in and out of your body. So it comes in, it fills up your lungs. You feel this expansion, contraction of the body, and likely of your energy field also. Just put that in your awareness that there's also, what people call prana or energy that comes in with that movement. And it's coming in with the breath. There are little practices that people do around just really intentionally pulling it up, but it happens automatically. And sometimes we get to these places where it's not really coming in as well as it should for various reasons. I was at that place some 2 or 3 months back as my system was shifting through some very deep pieces relative to being here, being on earth at this time. So just kind of feel that breath, be aware of that breath, just sit in that awareness of that breath. Feel the breath going in the lungs and filling up the lungs. Also, that movement, you might notice a movement of energy, kind of this energetic movement that's happening off the body. So there's the movement of the body, and then you feel like beyond the body, there's also this movement of expansion. So that's more of the energetics of your system expanding and contracting as well, along with the breath. So that ties into the kind of the prana, the energy coming in. I don't know if you guys will feel the space as being different than in some way, but it was very interesting opening up the space today that it wasn't the usual crew. I'll call in different beings to just be present with us and guide us. And there's a whole new crew that came in, and I am not really familiar with dimensional beings and all that, but non-physical beings. Um, it's all white. And they've kind of, if you've seen the Lord of the Rings, it's kind of that flavor of the elves, but all white, all like sparkling white. It's so I haven't seen these guys before that I'm aware of. I haven't been aware of them, put it that way. Maybe they have come in before. I haven't been aware of them before. So, and the only thing that means is that there's a shift in the space, and there's newness and something more for us, something different for us. So you might notice that, you might not notice it. If you do notice that hey, Elzava, welcome. If you do notice, if the space feels different to you today, I'd be curious to hear that, just out of curiosity. So, Elzara, we're focusing on our breath and just being present with the breath. So take a moment to settle into that. And anchor in the whole group a little bit more deeply. So if you're already whole in your being, then why come here? Why do work like this? Because the wholeness is that deepest aspect of yourself. And there's the surface level self, which we kind of feels lighter like water. Nice, yeah. Um, there's that surface level self, and I call the surface, and for all of us here, feels lighter. Nice. Um, it's the human self. There might be some of you guys here. It might not be the human self. It feels different, but I can't say why or what. Yeah, so just so nice point. So just sit with that, and we've come up with this before, but when you feel like when you get into the I don't know, which is you're kind of there. I mean, you're noticing something, but you just kind of sit with it, just kind of play with it, and I mean, this is what I've always done with clients, especially when I was working one on one the hands, so more of the energetic level, is you feel something. It's like, how do you start to describe that thing? Just go through adjectives, just attach adjectives to it. See, find adjectives that would describe that different to, like me, to somebody else. Um, and and just kind of so that will help fine tune. Doing that will help fine tune just your ability to sense in, instead of just kind of like, well, I don't know what feels different. I don't know why or what, and just moving on. And that's fine. That's so nothing wrong with doing that also. But if you take the time to just kind of sit with it longer, more information always comes through when we kind of sit with something longer. So so the surface level, there's always this process of realigning more deeply, coming into that deeper alignment uh, of our essence to our essence, and feeling that as it happens, because it just came in for me. So yeah, it's a process. It's not a static state. Consciousness is not a static thing. Being in alignment with ourselves is not a static thing. The only time it's going to get static, you're going to get to that end point where it's the end of time. Nothing exists anymore. It's like big collapse in the other direction. And then the void will sit there, the nothingness will sit there until it's time to open back up. So it's a constant shifting, a constant opening. And it's really hard at the human level. It's a challenge for everyone, for all of us. And it's always a practice to keep going deeper and deeper into that. Just breathing alone shifts your body, shifts the chemistry of your body, shifts the flow, the movement of the fluids, the cells, everything in your body. And when those shift around, when those move around, that process of change, of realigning, comes into place, or comes into play. So coming into that breath, allowing yourself to feel that breath and feel that different. I like that. Feels different. I can't say that happens to me a lot. I can't. Something feels different. What is that about? And the why might not be the why might come up, but if you sit with what is the different there, and you might recall back. Okay, well, last week, the week before, last time, another time you can remember from before, and then feeling into the now. Comparing helps to make that clearer. Sitting with the breath and feeling yourself with that breath just in this moment, just resting into your being more deeply. Feels like waves. Okay, that's an interesting one. Yeah. So there's two ways you can go with waves. There's sine waves and there's like oceans, water waves, which end up kind of, if you go down far enough, they come back to the sun. Lemon scent keeps coming up. That's great. That's really interesting, isn't it? So lemon, and what does that bring up for you? There's a real, there's a, when you say that, for me, that brings this, there's a real feeling of freshness, of lightness, of light, of lemon kind of lightens things up. There's that sour part to it, but there's that lightning effect also. So here's another piece. So lemon, how's that lemon feel? Does it feel bright? Does it feel sour? What's that? Which way do you go? Right now, it could go one direction. When it comes, like, again, it could be taking you in another direction for another reason. It's kind of like these little hints, these little breadcrumbs along the way, along on the path to that deepening, that rising in consciousness, that rising, that awakening, that stepping into that greater expression of who we are. Sour, so I'm going to go for the sour, for example. Sour, and feel that sourness, that there's like some memory might come up. So fresh, zingy, zesty. There's also traumatic memory there with lemon. Okay, so now, now that's an interesting piece too, where there's two that are locked in together. I keep trying to connect, but all these thoughts keep nagging at me. You are doing it perfect. You are connecting. You are connecting in, and you are connected. This happened to me. So this happened to me like a couple days ago. So notice that. Just feel where those nagging thoughts are. Because are they inside your head? Or are they outside? If they're inside your head, pull in more into yourself until you can really just feel yourself holding. And it might be, like really tense and really hard to hold, but feel yourself holding and then feel where that is going on. You are doing it perfectly, Elzaba. Okay. This is people, we all get so caught up in that. I got all these thoughts going on in my head. Yes. And they're coming up, they're clearing out because you are connecting in more deeply than you were before you got on. Lemon is fresh, clear energy, and bright. Yeah, so good. So that happened to me about 3 days ago. And it's been a pattern when I try to meditate for myself, like in the mornings. And just Holy crap. It's like I can't get into that deeper state. There's all these thoughts, and I feel myself really just in my head, and I feel myself up there and trying to come in more deeply, trying to align more deeply, and it's really hard. And I even feel that physical tension coming up with that because there's all these thoughts going on. And finally, the other day, got to a place where it's like, no, okay, hold. So you hold yourself, and it's like it's like a. I said lemon scent. Yes. Um, it's like holding up a weight. Where you feel like, okay, you just resist going into that thought. So you're holding that, and you become aware. You become. It's like you become the observer, and you're saying, no, I'm going to watch this. No, and even holding still, holding, coming to that stillness of holding your mind and your body still and just going, and it's like it feels like you stiffen up and you go, and that's fine. That's like emphasizing that separation. And I did that, and I was able to, some days you just struggle through that, pull in and separate out and push that. I said, no, I'm going to release whatever is causing me. And I could feel like this gray, dark matter stuff above my head, around behind me. And it's like, no, going to release whatever is creating this resistance and pushing into me, especially like the top of my head and the back. And when I said that, so it's like you take saying something like that doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's a way to take control of yourself and your energy. It says, no, wait, I'm in charge here. And then I noticed these, I'm going to call these energetic beings that just kind of pushed away, and they didn't look very pleasant. And they moved away and dissipated. But as long as I was just not really just kind of fighting myself, I was allowing them to sit there. So you have to go through that process. It's like you stop yourself, hold, hold still, hold that mind still, and shift out of that. Getting pulled around. You know, so perfect. You're having those nagging thoughts because they were there before, but you come in, you connect more deeply, and boom, you really notice them. Excellent. You did a great job there. I just had to do that in Portland City Center. Intense head pressure kept on saying no, and it's starting to lessen. Yeah, so there might be, maybe in that moment, the city center, it's like the best you could do is just like, nope, nope, nope. If you're on your own, I'll start pulling things off. If you can tap into that and feel like you're getting a hold of it and throwing it off. That works for me. It might not work for everybody. Not everybody might need to do that, but that's, you know, so it depends where, of course. It just reminds me of somebody in New York City with a class that I did, and a class that I was taking, and she was asking about that. It's like with relative to dead people, and she's like, "Well, what do I do?" Because it came up. It's like, well, picking up a lot of dead people just walking down the street, just dead people. Like we might understand that more as ghosts, but people have passed and their energy is still hanging out. Um, and her comment was, this is New York City. I have no problems being like that person who's like looking crazy. So it depends if you feel like looking crazy at the Portland City Center or not, or just. But yeah, he said no, absolutely not. And You might have to try different things because you gotta get that message through. So real good. All right, deep breath in. Hold it at the top, and then exhale, release out. Yeah, coming more, again, coming more deeply into that alignment. Once again, and once again, not at the same place as before, but once again, doing that process of realigning, coming in more deeply than a minute ago. And one thing to ask, like Elzada, and whenever you notice something coming up like that, it's like, is that energy? Is that me, or is that somebody else I'm picking up on? Because you're all sensitive. It's a question of if you're aware of that sensitivity in the moment. We have a tendency to feel like it's like, oh God, my neck hurts again. It's like, yeah, okay, got to get a massage or something. But it's like, okay, wait, somebody hanging on to me here, and starting with that piece, clearing that up, that might just clear up that neck problem or whatever. So Alzala, get in that place, coming in deeper and within yourself and ask, it's like, okay, are those nagging thoughts mine? Are they coming, are they mine, or are they somebody else's that I'm picking up on? And we pick up information not just in space and time, meaning not just where you are in this moment in whatever space you're picking it up from across the universe. So where is that coming from? Is that you? Is it your family? Is it is it something that's always been there that is playing out again? The thoughts that are coming up, I feel like I'm picking it up from other people I'm around or near, my boyfriend especially, and my roommate and family I live with. Okay, good. Good to get that clarity, right? Because you're thinking you're not connecting in. Here you are, you're connecting in, you're getting real clear about what's going on in your space. So you know what to do with that, right? Yeah, you got to really pull into your body. You got to say, no, that's not mine. Release. I release it now. Let's rectify this program. Let's rectify this identity, this pattern. Nope, me first. And it does take work. I mean, there are certain people that are more key than others. Stuff with my mother. I mean, it's like my mind goes off in that direction. She's not. I'm not even living in the same space as her. It's like no, and it's really it's amazing to see because I can. You get to a point, and I can get to that. I get to that point where it's like I I feel it's like there's like this haze, this fog in my mind, and it's like and it's not in me, it's just kind of maybe around me, and I'm pulling outside of myself and paying attention to that. So it's literally I can feel that movement. It's like, no, come into here, come inside your body, within your body. If it's in your side, I mean, it can sometimes they'll show up inside the body. We won't go there, but it's the same thing. It just takes a little bit different kind of approach there. And arm's length out. So I like to, you can't see it because the screen won't go there, but if you put your arms out to either side, and I like to just kind of snap my fingers, it just brings that auditory awareness to that edge arm's length on either side is about your space, and then you imagine that 360 degrees as well. Above your head is below your feet. Also, all around you, it's arm's length out from the edge of your body. Okay, and you can do that. I just snap and feel the fingertips. That's as far as this is my space. Okay. And then, of course, the next question is, what the hell are you doing? Letting that other energy come into you. Why are you holding on? Why are you holding on to them? What's the trigger there for you? Because if we're letting them in, there's a habit, there's a pattern, there's a reason, you know, like in the case of my mother. I mean, it's like when you grow up with somebody who's anxious, when you have a house with that's full of anxiety, you're walking on eggshells, you're always kind of like, am I going to be okay? Is this going to, and it, so it's a habit. And sometimes habits get, take a bit of time to undo themselves because it's this automatic reaction. So there's a lot of different things that need to be cleared out, depending on the situation. But it could be fear, it could be, being left alone, being abandoned. It goes back to really early times, early days. So it's like, well, okay, yeah. So it's other people that I'm around or near, and they can be like, physically on the other side of the planet, also near. Okay, they're still near you energetically because that transcends time and space. Why am I holding on to this person's energy? That is what I'm dealing with, and I'm not taking other stuff personally. So I need a little clarity on that one. So that is what I'm dealing with, and not taking. Oh, I get it. Okay, I got it. Um, yeah. So work in progress. People, empathic people, and if you're empathic and you were empathic relative to an abuser, that's going to be, that's going to reinforce that taking on other people's stuff. So always, and then pulling yourself in if dealing with having grown up in a household of anxiety. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's abuse basically. All right. Take another nice deep breath in, everybody. So this is good. This is pulling out. This is actually pulling people out because I'm seeing people coming out of different beings, different you guys. Beings meaning you beings on the human beings here. So holding on to somebody's energy is a form of control. And somewhere along the line it didn't feel safe. And so you hold on to that energy because then you have a sense of what's going on. You have a sense of, okay, I'm connected to that person. You have a sense of not being left alone. I'm just, see if that works for you or if it doesn't, just this examples. So I'm holding on to that so that I know what's going on, so that I know I can have that sense that something's going on, or you end up preparing yourself for that next outburst or that next deep breath into that one. That's a big one there. Yeah, so Elzaba and anybody else that comes up for, yes, afraid of doing wrong thing and then being abandoned. Yes, right. And so come into that empty. And is that tied into psychic abilities? You had said most people have psychic abilities because of abuse of control. Well, maybe not most people, but it's very common that because it's you develop that psychic ability, or you really grow it and develop it and maintain that, because that's a form of control, of knowing, if you can know ahead of time that something is going to happen. So precognition, then you can prepare for it. Felt a huge pressure in my solar plexus when I breathed in. Yeah. So is that pressure pushing into you, or is it pushing out? Or is it trying to like explode out, kind of thing? Um, and if it's coming in, who is it coming from? Where is it coming from? Who's plugged into you in your solar plexus? So with psychic abilities, yeah, when you feel out of and children will do that. If their parents are really sick, pushing in, yeah. So follow that line. Pushing in from where? From who? What is that habit about? Yeah, there's a bit there. There's a lot. That's really good. And here you thought you were not connecting it. Boom, there you are. You were connecting it perfectly. See, everybody notice that. Keep that in mind, everybody. It's like, yeah, I can't connect in. There's like, well, there's stuff going on. Yeah, right, yeah. And here you are. This is when you connect in, the stuff is going to show up. And it's good that it's showing up, so that you can shift into that deeper alignment with yourself. We don't come into that deeper alignment with ourselves when it feels great and fantastic. That usually means we're just in that place, that sweet spot, and we can kind of coast in that sweet spot. But when we go into an even deeper alignment, then more stuff will come up, because that stuff is getting in the way of getting to that higher alignment. My daughter's husband was sucking my energy a while back when we were just talking, and I thought of my daughter. Then her husband came to mind and got dizzy. Is he still sucking on my energy? Okay, take a deep breath in, Tanya. Feel into and just hold your breath. Take a deep breath in. Everybody can join in, see what's coming up for each of you. But just take a nice deep breath in and hold it at the top, and hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it. And the longer you hold it, until you can't hold it in anymore, but the longer you hold it, it's like it really forces you to come into just your body, because your body is going, I got to breathe, I got to breathe. And you're going, nope, let's hold it longer and longer. And I got to breathe, I got to breathe. So that kind of helps to separate out and then release it out. Feel your body, come into your body more. Notice your body, become aware of your ears, your eyes, your nose, your bottom lip, the back of your neck, your elbows, the tips of your fingers, your knees, the small of your back. Wiggle your toes. Feel those toes. That's an interesting power dynamic there is going on for you, Tanya. So you tell me, is he still sucking your energy? And then the next question is, why are you letting him? There's a dynamic between the three of you there that would be better straightened if that was straightened out. So there's some dysfunction in that trio. See if you have a sense of that. And everybody, Everybody, you're just coming into your breath, lining more deeply with each breath. And if you really feel stuff and it really feels like I've tried cutting cords. Yeah, well, so that's fine to cut cords, but if you have to keep cutting cords, then you've got a way that you're pulling that into you. So there's and the cords is usually through one to one person only. You've got a trio going. You've got a tree going on here, and you've got your husband that's involved in a different way. So there's four person I'm dating. I feel guilty and responsible for him. So why in the hell are you feeling guilty, responsible for him? It's like, how old is he? Is he old enough to take care of himself? Yes. So why are you feeling guilty or responsible for him? Responsible and feeling guilty. It's like, was your mother like that? Did you pick up that pattern from somebody else in your family doing that? He's a big boy. He should be able to take care of himself. And there's a sense in that also, this piece of you want to be loved. And there's habits that he has that you wish he did have because it shows that there's a weakness in him. And since you are aware of that, maybe you're taking on that responsibility and then you feel guilty because you're not doing anything about it. I don't know. Go through that and see if any of that makes sense for you. But there's this need to want to be, there's this need to be wanted, to be loved. I need to be loved. I want to be loved, and that need of wanting to be loved. Dive into where that is coming for yourself. And find that core piece for yourself. Deep breath in, everybody. All right, we're pulling up some deep stuff here. And here, everybody thought, well, I'm not really connected it. Well, I'm not everybody, but that was coming up. It's like, yeah, really deep stuff. And notice how hard it is to even feel that wanting to be loved, and how that piece just really grabs your solar plexus. People have a tendency to, it's like, oh, that need to be loved coming into the heart. No, it pulls on your power, your solar plexus, and it just goes, eh. Yes, makes sense. It's happened with my dad. He has problems with sleeping, PTSD, and other things. My mom told me she had to take care of him. So that's your mom. She can do whatever she wants with your dad and whatever she did with your dad. And so see that and says, okay, let's rectify that. Let's rectify that piece because I don't want to be there. But feeling, that wanting to be loved takes your power away from you, weakens you. It's not about your heart, it's about the strength for yourself, your power for yourself, the strength to hold your own space, to hold your own. And it makes women, that's a very common issue for women. It shows up differently for men. Men have this too, but of this needing to be loved and doing anything, getting into any relationship to be loved and not dropping the relationships fast enough when they're not going in the right direction because there's this twang. I want to come back to Tanya here because it's um, sometimes cutting cords can be sufficient, and basically what happens is there's always cords of connections. I mean, they're always going to be there. Um, and it's a question of, when we say cutting cords, it's really kind of releasing that part that's distorted. Uh, but when you get into more than one person involved, then you've got more stuff going on. So it's a little bit convoluted there. There's a little bit like these if you're looking at chords, there's a little bit of this wrapping around and different things and you know, so sucking into your energy. So where is that coming in? So we're just gonna go for the solar plexus since that's kind of a typical place, but it could be your heart, it could be somewhere else. But see that chord. Is it going to your daughter's husband or is it going to your daughter or is it going to your husband? Where is it actually going to? Whose chords are, where are the connections? And maybe there's chords that's come into you in one place and then split off and go in different places. That gets pretty complicated, convoluted, and it can be a little hard to work on for yourself sometimes. But sit with that. Look at what's the dynamics. So sit back from the courts for a minute, and what is the dynamics at play here? It's not straightforward, and it's not that it's really bad or nasty. It's just not straightforward. Karen, I'm curious why I feel so nauseous. Is this mine? Okay, so come into that nausea. Feel that nauseous. Um, Nausea will come up for a lot of different reasons. When something is coming back, when you've got the tissue, this would happen to me, and when I was working on people, and I said, if you need to throw up, we got the trash can right here, no worries, because what happens is when you're bringing, so solar plexus seems to be a good one to go back to here. When that area is filled with energy that's not you. And so it becomes numb, it becomes frozen. That part of you there is kind of frozen. When it comes back to life, because you've got your essence is coming into that, there's an opening, there's energy that's coming through, that's bringing it forward, that's bringing it to the surface. You're gonna feel nauseous. That's a very typical response. That's happened to me too. And I've never gotten to the point, and I've never had anybody get to the point um, uh, of throwing up completely, but it feels that way. So come into the nausea. So it's kind of this mix. It's like there's stuff that's releasing off of you, and then you're coming into that area. So it's saying this is mine, this is not mine. Is I mean, sometimes you can go there, but I feel like right now for you, it's more of this piece of you're coming, something is coming online again that's been frozen. That sense of power for yourself hasn't really been there for you, I would say. Sydney, I keep on encountering ladies in major life upgrades, and I'm wondering why it's so difficult for me to see someone who has it all. Do they? Do they have it all? What makes you think they have it all? What is this mirroring? Is it just envy or something deeper? Well, first of all, it's like, why do you think they have it all? Are you just seeing the part of them that has all of what you want to have? And do you see the rest of them? Do you see what's really going on? Um, it feels like slave self and also very deep longing of what I should be able to fall back on. The father piece you brought up last week. Okay. There's a lot of different pieces in that. So, first of all, what is it that you think that they have that you don't have? Um, unless you're around somebody 24/7, and even then you really don't know uh, what they really have and what they don't have. Unless you can see everything that's going on for that person, exactly where they are 24/7 on the physical level and across time and space and dimension, all the way back to their ultimate source, then maybe they don't have it all. And it's that there's that thing. It's like there's that piece in there of comparing yourself to where they are and where you are. So it's like, man, I wish I could be there. But there's different things you can do with that. Um, I see your response, Karen. I'll get to that in a minute. First is looking at that and saying, okay, so they have something I want. So one question that comes to mind is, do you know what they paid for to get that? Is it a clean upgrade? There's a lot of this going on. Did that person buy their way up or not? See tons and tons of people out there. We can go into the rich famous as great examples because they're really out on the public. A lot of them pay and pay in their essence, give up something else, get into that relationship that's not supportive. Women will do that. Men will do that too. Because, and then I feel so good. And then you see that part that says, I feel so good. And you catch them in that moment of feeling great. But what have they done to get that upgrade is one of the questions. And I'm not saying that these people, these ladies that you're encountering in major life upgrades, but that's a question to consider. And then if it's really genuine, if that upgrade is really genuine, and it's like, okay, what do I need to do to get there? What do I need to shift for myself? What do I need to let go? What's keeping me from being there? So, why is this so difficult? So why is it so difficult? It's like, stop judging yourself. Get to that piece too. You are exactly where you need to be on your journey. End of story. It's really hard. We all have that judgment piece on ourselves. And the material, physical world pushes us to, if you don't have that material success, there's something wrong. So, learning to embrace our own journey. Let's see, that's me. I assume that what I was saying earlier about the nausea. Thank you. What you said makes sense. So, yes, that's the thing that keeps coming up. Celebrity culture, and that's like the most distorted culture you can even kind of bring up, and leave that alone. And if you're seeing that on social media, just get off social media. Give yourself this kind of like, needed to hear that. Also, what's sitting comment? Yeah, yes. So good. So stay away from that. So you keep coming across those ladies. So obviously, I don't know. That makes me wonder. It's like, where are those ladies that are? If If it's online on social media, even in some of your groups that are in the awakening thing, you're going to have those people. People want to be seen. And so they'll post, had this great expansion, da 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 da. And that's what you see. But are you seeing the rest of what's going on for them? Is that going to hold? Mostly through house sitting. Yes. So, yeah, and really take a close look at those people. It's like, and that's okay if you're house sitting, but so that's a good exercise for you to keep coming back to yourself. It's like you are doing exactly what you need to do. And for all you know, and all those women know, is what you are doing is you're the one who's giving them the upgrade because you come in with your dynamic at the energetic, at the non-physical level. You come in and you're holding your space better than they are. It gives them the upgrade. It makes their essence go, oh, I can be doing that. So, that thing with money, with wealth, with material possessions, take a look at that because it's backwards. In worldwide, it's backwards. I notice in people at the beach. Yeah, the beach can bring in a lot of those people. Showing off their bodies, showing off their looks, showing off how great they are, and then if you really look deeply, it's like, ugh, gross. It's like cigarette butt in there. All right, let's take a nice deep breath in. Can be triggering for both of us. It should not be triggering for you. That's because you don't realize who you are, and you are projecting that they are in a better place than you are. And so if it's triggering for the other person, it's a little disorienting. So look at that, and it's like be open when you're open to yourself and to where you're at and at ease with, people are not at the same place, not at the same level. They're doing different things for themselves. And be open to yourself, then you can be open to other people and be open to where anybody is, because you kind of come in with a judgment on them to begin with. Also, take a look at that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be having that question mark, or that's part of the question mark, why that comes up for you. And if you can just be, people are where they are. And then there's always going to be a little bit of, some people are just going to get triggered because it's hitting them in a soft spot. So, all right, let's take a nice deep breath in. Hold everything at the top. Do you have any book recommendations? Like, what kind of books are we talking about? Any topics in particular? The one that comes to mind instantly, if you want to really explore the reality and existence, this is a really old book. I say old because I think it dates back to the 80s. Michael Talbot. Oh shit, what is that book called? I have to look it up. It's a book. I could not put it down. I was as the more I read it, the slower I read it because it was so good. And it's in the science section. The Holographic Universe. There we go. The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. He goes into all this stuff, personal experiences, as well as things that were documented on stuff that happens where that makes you question what reality is. Like one example from that is an experience he had. He was coming out with a group of people, and I think they had been talking exactly about just, that kind of stuff, what they were working on. And they come out of a building, and there's a group of people walking in front of them. And this woman was carrying like a green umbrella or something like that. It caught his attention because it was odd. It just looked out of place because it was an umbrella. It wasn't rainy. It was a sunny day. And then all of a sudden she turns around and throws this thing and it turns into a snake. It's like, whoa, what just happened to make you really put that question mark on what you think reality is. Um, Reminds me of Free to Thrive, Kimberly Carter and Foster Gamble. Great book, yes. Okay, deep breath in, everybody. We're going to wrap this up now. Had a nice big session here. Really come in, feel that breath. I'm going to take a couple moments here to feel that breath. Come into that deeper alignment for yourself. A lot has been released in this session today. A lot of clarity. Energetically, yeah, there's a lot of darker stuff shifting off. And you all have more things to think about for yourself, which is good. I'm not familiar with that book, Cindy, so I'll take a look to see what that's about. Coming, yeah. Everybody's lining up more deeply now. Whoops. Coming into that stillness of your being. That quietness. Some of you have been there a little bit more than some others in the group, and that's fine. That's a good place to be too. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Let's see. The next time is next week. We have a full, nearly 99% total solar eclipse next week here. And so we're back on the 19th. And I will still be alive after the solar eclipse. I plan to go see it. It's an online community, more like, okay, yeah, I have a little bit of a difficulty with communities because they end up getting really boxed into how they look at things. All right, so thank you all for coming here. Good to see everybody. We'll see you a week after next. A lot to think about. So Tanya, yeah, kind of ponder that one and just shift through it, see what comes up. Over time, it might not be all at once, but what are the dynamics there? It's yeah, that'll be a good one to kind of unravel for yourself. And if you need more help, then you know what to do. Oh, and let me get just my QR code. I need to do this for myself, so there we go. There's the QR code right at the end. And so we'll see you not next week, but the week after that. So take care, everybody. Good to see you all. And I see the comments. So sometimes people have comments showing up. I'm trying to get the screen to, it won't show up. All right. There we go. So thank you all for showing up. And Asta, you've been quiet in the background, but that's fine. All right. Take care, everybody. See you in a couple weeks.